Alright, we're ending this now.
Woo!
Here's the last episode.
You know what's the sad thing is that if this game was released in these couple of years, this would probably be sold as DLC.
Well, thankfully even Sega aren't
But
happy.
I'm digressing. For now, yeah, Mephiles is not dead yet for some reason.
Well, do we even know if he's
Okay,
still going
okay,
after that
Honestly,
story?
Pedro, I gotta say this cutscene music isn't very good.
This one, yeah, this is definitely, yeah, I will agree. This one is not one of the better ones. I'll admit, yeah.
Mephiles, come on.
But I love the one that's gonna play now. Don't get me wrong. This cutscene is the fucking abomination of Satan.
No, this is the best cutscene in the game.
But I do love the organ mute because for this cutscene, Otani-san brought forth a fucking organ of all things.
Don't flash me. Seizure.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest plot hole of the entire game. Mephiles could have just done this from the very beginning, and yet for some reason we had to endure an entire game of stupidity.
But it's the best analogy for this game.
So basically, what you're telling, true, but that's the thing, Dwebs. Basically, what the game is telling me with this cutscene is that everything I've been doing up until this point was just a waste of my time. Mephiles could have just done this from the beginning. Like
now, for the sake of argument, let's say that he put this all into plan just so that Elise would actually grow to have true feelings for Sonic. Well, either way, I gotta say that is way too complicated for its own good.
Oh yeah, evil.
Oh wait, this bit.
This is the best.
Then I love you, man. You're just so wasted in this role.
You know, I said before that this is the game that was the turning point of me in what I could and couldn't tolerate in video games. I think that was Mephiles.
By the way, there's no actual.
I believe Sonic is dead.
By the way, there's no actual hole in his chest. You can actually tell through his hand that there's no actual hole in the chest. So basically,
he was pierced with dark energy through his heart that infected it.
Sure.
Anyway, hey, that's how Kingdom Hearts would explain it.
That's the 4 kids explanation.
Jova, using Kingdom Hearts to explain this isn't.
I do love the fact that Otani brought forth a fucking organ for this cutscene. Like it sounds amazing. So
no. Ding. Also, we don't actually see her crying.
Exactly, we don't even see the tears.
Again, it's so criminal that such awesome music is wasted on such horrible cutscenes.
Why crying? I mean, why not just like if Elise's arm's broken or something?
Also, not just what Dweb said, but at the same time, Jova. See, here's the thing. Even what he's doing right now is still unnecessarily complicated because he needed Elise to cry. No. But even more, Jova. Listen to me. He could have. Here's an idea. Pick an onion and peel the onion right in front of her and make her cry. There you go. See, I mean, the game never specifies that it has to be tears of sadness. So
yeah, like I said.
So why even bother killing Sonic? Just I don't know, kill a puppy in front of her or something. I mean.
Well, that's right. The Shadow and.
But remember, guys,
or kill her. I got it, Pedro. Kill her father. Oh no, wait, they already did that.
Don't you see? Elise was too strong to be able to cry just because her dad died so clearly.
Also, yeah, here's another loop. Like a small loop. For some reason, Mephiles can't just fuse with Iblis. He kinda needs the Chaos Emeralds as well to do it.
I don't know why.
Okay. He can just
this was never specified.
Oh, it's okay though. Well, okay. To be fair, they do establish in Shadow Story that he's hunting down the Chaos Emeralds, but here's the thing. He just warps them right to him. Yep, he could have summoned the Chaos Emeralds right to him whenever he wanted.
Sure, why the fuck not? I do have one problem though. So wait, this is worthy of a CGI FMV? So the death of the main character, however, is not worthy of CGI? I mean, I don't know. I get the feeling that the death of Sonic should have been, a CGI cutscene, considering how important the game wants us to think it is.
Also, these knuckles were just hanging around with Amy. We didn't know that.
Maybe they were going to, but ran out of time.
So yeah,
the word is over.
So yeah, Mephiles and Iblis fused and they became Solaris again, and they destroyed the space-time continuum. However, because our heroes have main characters' immunity, they get teleported into this place.
Not only that, now Silver, who was in a completely different time period, also ends up here conveniently.
Well, remember, Jova, he destroyed space-time and future, so obviously he would be affected as well.
You're telling me it's confusing.
Here's the thing, though. He's literally the only person from the future to show up here.
True. Well, Blaze is dead.
And also
I mean,
Eggman's
remember,
alive.
remember, Jova. There were only 2 people in the Silver's future, and one of them is dead. So, yeah.
Remember, though, Silver mentions that he spoke to somebody who
Where the hell even? Where even are they?
I don't know, Dwebs. The game never explains it.
Pocket dimension.
They're in the hub. They're in the hub world.
Basically, Dweebs, time and space has now all been broken. So, yeah, we're here now. It's end of the world, whatever.
Time and space being broken. You know, there's more tension in a Doctor Who episode.
I love how Tails. Okay, Amy's reaction is fine, I guess, but I love how Tails' reaction to seeing Sonic dead is just like the equivalent of him seeing. I don't know.
Supernova.
They forgot to put tears in Amy's eyes.
And Shadow cannot give a single fuck.
I love how Knuckles' reaction is the most emotional out of anyone. Either that's Deanne Green just trying, or I don't know.
He's
The voice
trying.
direction really
Consumed with despair, I guess.
No, just no.
But okay. So there you go, guys. Apparently, torturing Elise, that won't make her cry. Killing her father, that won't make her cry. No. What makes her cry is in the depth of a hedgehog that she knew for it.
Also, again, Jova,
24 hours.
My suspension of disbelief is really tested to think that she did not cry a single tear
Yeah,
for the death of her
Oh
father.
yeah, everybody's already
I'm
beaten that horse at this point too.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, see, this is a stupid thing, though. They're implying that Elise was too strong to cry with just physical pain or this or that, so they had to have a loved one die in front of her. Let me remind you, she knew Sonic way less than she knew her father. Yet seeing Sonic die somehow makes her cry.
Defeating it here would do nothing.
Yes,
Basically,
you're
he
just side
existed.
characters. You
So
cannot
yeah,
do anything.
basically the last story of this game is.
Okay, this bit. Okay, now, the only reason this plan fails is because Mephiles got Silver involved, because now Silver, who's now more experienced with time travel, actually has a plan.
Not just that, Jova, but I would like to also state that once again, in an attempt to succeed to be a successor to the adventure games, this entire last episode is basically a gigantic ripoff of the last story of Sonic Adventure 2. Let's think about this. We have one final level that is played by all the available characters for the sake of a specific purpose. Then at the end, we have all available hedgehogs join forces, turning super, and fight the giant boss. It's literally Sonic Adventure 2's last story again.
What do you even mean by
Sonic's
that?
the win.
Yeah.
Well, of course,
Sorry.
well, of course you can feel his presence in the wind. His corpse is gonna be smelling.
That's a bad smelling actual.
I got it. No, Joe, I got it. It'll be like that film where Daniel Radcliffe plays a corpse and it keeps farting, and that's how you smell
It's so
it.
That is a dead hedgehog right there.
This is so stupid. But yeah, like I said, this is
The miracle never happened.
so yeah. Once again, so yeah, guys, we're doing Sonic Adventure
Yes,
2's.
it's up to you, Elise. And by up to you, we mean that everyone else is gonna go and get a chaos symbol for you to do some magic mumbo jumbo with it.
What's Eggman
Well,
gonna do?
so Silver's the game's reasoning.
Pedro.
The game's reasoning is that she was the vessel that carried Iblis. How does that even relate to the Chaos Emeralds exactly?
It's because she's
To be
tied
fair,
to
though,
the
if I learned
subtitles.
if I learned from Sonic game is that
Oh my god, I
Emeralds-
can a scanner. That is okay. That's admittedly one of the coolest
guys,
things in this game.
guys.
Yes, Luisa.
The subtitles missed an L in aisle.
Typo.
Typo. Yeah. That's the least
Is
of this
that
cutscene's
all?
problems, if you ask me.
That's the least of this game's problems.
But yeah, if there's something that the Sonic game taught me is that the Chaos Emeralds do whatever the plot
They're
is
the
convenient.
dragon.
Also, I
They're the
love that
Dragon
line
Balls
from Amy.
too.
It's like,
Yeah.
Well,
Let's wish Sonic back with the 7 Dragon Balls. I mean the Chaos Emeralds.
I mean, granted-
Amy's just like, I'll go too because it's for Sonic. So it's like, what's if it were anyone else? You just leave them.
Well, remember, Shirai, this is Nakamura's Amy, not the real Amy. So
Alright, Pedro, you wanna explain how the end of the world works?
yeah,
Because-
like I said, we're doing Sonic Adventure 2 again. All the available characters are joining forces in this one level, and then of course we'll have a climactic final battle with all hedgehogs turning super and fighting the final boss. It's literally Sonic Adventure 2's last story again. How I'm
but then worse. done immensely.
Well, obviously that goes without saying, if you ask me.
Also, I should probably mention that almost every character starts off by saying, "Sonic, I'm coming," in a very, very, very uncomfortable manner of speaking.
So are you on a time limit here?
Sonic, I knew you'd come. Anyway, let me
The
explain.
funny thing is, Amy is one of the only characters who doesn't say that line.
Actually, she does say it, Shiro. Remember the trial of love?
No.
No,
Let's talk about for this level.
But now you've got those time rifts as well.
Yeah. Basically, here those black hole things. Those are time holes. I think is that the official term?
I don't know.
Basically,
Basically,
get anywhere close to them and you get insta killed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not too bad. Here's the problem: they spawn randomly.
Not just that, Joe, but they suck you up into them, which means
They also spawn in the most inconvenient places.
the only way to
like
get rid of those things is to touch that ball jewel statue thing.
Even the bounce pass gets sucked up into them.
Even the monsters.
I have no idea why touching that one thing suddenly makes all time holes disappear. Yeah, here's what you do. Don't bother trying to fight the enemies, just wait for all of them to get killed. Because trying to fight the enemies with those balls sucking up is a fucking nightmare. So I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna wait till they die on their own.
Oh,
Also,
usually
this
what I...
filter, Jesus.
I mean, granted, I never felt I had to wait with Omega. I mean, Omega I can easily clear house with. Now, I definitely get that tactic with Omega.
I don't want to risk dying and starting this over again.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Did I mention that if you die, you have to start back with Tails?
Yeah, exactly. So no.
Well, if you get a game over anyway.
Allow me to quote.
No. Sure. Here's the thing. You die. Wait. Actually, that is a good point.
It's only if you get a game over.
Shiro,
But you probably will.
Jova, Shiro, to quote Disney's Hercules, love to, but can't.
Okay. I guess to be fair, Pedro, sure, he does have a point. It's only if you get a game over that you start all the way back with
But
Tails,
the
I
thing
think.
is, you will get one.
If you
Easily.
don't
Well,
study this
regardless of that, I don't want.
The first time you play this, you will get one.
Regardless of that fact, the end of the world is fucking garbage,
Wow,
so I
the
don't
only
want
one-
to deal with it.
The only one who doesn't say Sonic, I'm coming is
It's
Omega.
Omega. Yeah.
Well,
Actually, Amy doesn't say it either. Well, actually, Knuckles doesn't say.
oh no!
Oh,
Knuckles
no, I
will
think
say it when he
Knuckles
gets
does,
the
very
chaos
aggressively.
when he gets the chaos emerald, you'll see.
So yeah, but just like with Rouge, you can basically fuck this part of the level in the anus thanks to Knuckles gliding and climbing.
However, after this, I think it's... Oh, wait, unless you
It's
get
over.
caught on the wall.
There you go.
Thankfully, you did not.
Wow,
There we
that
go.
was easy.
Don't worry, Dwibs. They're gonna make up for how he's
Alive!
bad. Because guess who's next, guys?
Silver.
John Cena.
Marijuana the porcupine.
Jova.
Oh my god, that loading screen was stupid. It's Silver.
I think this is the worst of the bunch.
Yes. Silver
because
is
it's
incredibly
Silver.
slow. Remember, he has to rely on projectiles. Projectiles that are getting sucked into a black hole, and if you run out of meter, well, thankfully Pedro's... Actually, yeah, you gotta work really hard, because even abusing the flapping your wings one, there are chances that you'll come across a spot where you'll fall into the sand hard. Oh, and even better, we've got those platforming bits where you can get knocked back right into one of the black holes. Did I mention that sometimes the bounce pads will bounce you right into where a black hole is about to appear?
Yep.
Almost. Oh god. You see that? Even abusing it, Pedro barely made
Also,
it.
do the black holes, if you don't touch the statues immediately or get the emeralds soon enough, actually, insta-kills you nonetheless if they grow too much?
They
like
always...
if you-
They always... Okay, some insta-kill you, others throw stuff at you.
Yeah, they also throw stuff at you from them somehow.
No, because I noticed the more time passes, the weirdest the filter
They look like
becomes.
they look like all of them have the Eye of Sauron inside them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, right?
Did they literally rip off the graphic from that? They took a PNG of the movie of one of the Lord of the Rings movies of Sauron, just put a filter over it and
To be fair,
made it the graphic.
To be fair, Team Ninja did it as well when we did Phantom for Metroid SCWRM, so...
Well, you shouldn't be ripping off stuff anyway, so...
True.
I mean, granted, it's a thin line between ripping off or just being a coincidence or taking inspiration
Oh,
from.
with Phantom Job, I can tell you it was more than a coincidence. Oh, Jesus, the camera.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mind you, we can use the ledges.
Oh, by the way,
anyway,
the
so
camera.
there's no tension.
By the way, the camera's so dickister that if you're not careful, you'll walk right into the bottomless sand.
Basically, yeah.
Because of course.
Fortunately, I already know in advance the level layout, so yeah. There we go.
There we go.
How do you find the Chaos Emeralds?
So is next Amy?
Amy, yes.
I think it's Rouge next.
Oh, is it Rouge now? I forgot the order.
So we can't play
I-
with Blaze.
I always... Oh, yeah, it's Rouge.
Oh, it's Rouge.
No, just like with Knuckles,
wait,
Rouge's
wait,
section
wait.
is incredibly easy. Just keep climbing the rocks and just glide all over everything.
That said, Rouge's can be a bit trickier because here is when the Black Portals actually learn that you can climb onto walls, so you gotta be quick.
Not just that,
Well, as
but
long as you're relatively
there's
fast,
little...
you should be fine.
Because the level design is so vague, it's kind of... It can be really hard to find out where you're supposed to be going in during your first time.
Also, one of the mountains in the background was just spawning and, disappearing at random depending on your distance. Charming.
This sort of effect was done better in
There
Crash
you go.
than Sin.
You're supposed to go specifically to this spot, right here. There you go.
No, Rouge. I don't
Oh,
want to hear that
thank
phrase
you.
from
Thank,
you.
thank you so much for ending the sentence like that, Pedro. Sonic, I'm come.
Please tell me you let Shadow say
What
it.
was that phrase that I came as soon as I learned you beat the Elite
I came
Four?
when I heard you beat the Elite Four.
Yeah.
Now, Amy
There you
is
go.
surprisingly the only one who doesn't seem to have the hots for... Well, she's one of the few who do not seem to have the hots for Sonic alongside Omega in this.
Not just that, Jova. Here's the problem. Because Amy's so slow, and her hammer attack is next to fucking useless, it can be really troublesome to beat the enemies in this part, and even get to... Because remember, her double jump basically cuts off all forward momentum, and so it can be really troubling when you're trying to get away from the black...
Oh jeez! Oh god!
From the black testicle, from the death testicle, from the death. I'll just call it. Okay, how about this? The game doesn't actually give them an official term, so I'll just give them one myself. The death testicles. There you go.
See,
that's
this
what
is
they
I
are.
mean.
The
Like,
death
the
testicles.
filter is getting weirder and weirder. So if you let too much time passes, it will still kill you.
I've never
no,
actually
no.
tried it myself, Jova.
I'll leave you at your worries. No, there's no time limit there. The
It's
colorful-
weird. But why is the game going weird with its filter ban?
Here's the thing. The
It's
more
it's to
colorful and
indicate that the time space continuum is starting to go apeshit too, basically.
Not,
Yes,
not only
Joel?
that, but the more it goes out of whack, the more those space holes will appear. And trust me, it's a bad thing when you get to a combination of the dark ones and the orange ones, because the orange ones will fling stuff at you, and that will cause you to get knocked down. And those black holes are strong enough that getting knocked down once by one of the orange
Oh
holes.
god!
can
The door
get you
just
one and
spawned
killed.
like that.
The draw distance in this game is...
Yeah,
The
I noticed it
Spawn
when
is
you were
better
fighting
than
with Rouge and
Shadows last.
Yeah, Shadows last.
Okay.
Shadow's
Shadow's level is-
Shadow's the easier one. Like it's basically yet another a repeat of a section from Cannon Valley. That's basically it.
Here's the problem with Shadows, is though. Shadows level, while it's not the hardest, it is the level where you can most likely get blindsided by a black hole, because, believe it or not, if you so much as time bouncing off of a bounce pad, that's right, bouncing off of a bounce pad wrong, a black hole will spawn and you'll be dead. I mean,
Oh, like that.
Stand that
The
right
eagle
there.
just drops you like that near a black hole.
Eagle of Freedom, my ass.
yeah.
Wow, what was the point of that canister if there was nothing in it?
No idea.
We didn't have time to program it into the
That's
game, dude.
that's because Dweebs, you'll notice that my lives dropped from 99 to 98. That's because you're seeing a second try. Because what Jova just described actually happened to me.
Yep.
You just didn't see it.
Well, you see, Dweebs, you actually did get sucked in the first time.
No,
Okay.
the eagle.
The
Because-
eagle works off of Naughty Dog properties. It's invincible.
Yeah, it's
Almost landed into
it's
that
a
one,
it's
too.
it's the Eagle's operating on Naughty Dog NPC. Well, the Bioshock Infinite did that too, didn't it? Where Elizabeth
Well,
is
Bioshock Infinite took it a step further and had her not only be
God.
implement.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a thing also. If you don't homing attack the right way, you'll also get sucked in.
Especially with Shadow, we keep staying
Oh,
on
God.
the spot while at attack.
Here I come.
Fuck whoever wrote this.
Yeah.
We know.
What rank? You still got a B rank.
I know. That's why I stopped saying it.
Boy, Shadow, you're looking awfully shiny there.
All right,
Just see.
so
Oh boy, it's time.
Oh, gold medal.
Now,
I would like to also say something because obviously the problem with this cutscene has been beaten like a fucking dead horse.
Like a dead hedgehog.
There's no real reason to. So I would like to say something that people usually don't bring up in their when they get to this scene. The music that plays during this cutscene is absolutely beautiful, and once again, I need to ask myself, Otani-san, I hope you really got well paid for this game because the cutscene. Well, actually, Takahito Eguchi was the one who composed this one, I think, or was it Mariko Namba? Let me check who composed this one.
Regardless, though, yes, folks, it's coming. Basically, Elise has this mystical prophecy. Well, okay, I guess he's just going to do the mystical Chaos Emerald chant to bring Sonic back to life.
Please come back.
Not really, but whatever.
I'm not even gonna look at it because I'm searching for the.
Have you
composers.
put to the clip with Johnny's review where he just
Nah.
silently drinks his tea?
Come on.
Sorry, Theo. This horse has been beaten at this point. I don't even know what to do.
I know.
I mean, this sort of stuff could be done
Hideki
better,
Kobayashi.
maybe somewhere if they at least have the proper build-up.
Although Knuckles' reaction, I think it's pretty priceless.
The music in this cutscene is called "Wishing Upon the Chaos Emeralds." It was composed by Hideki Kobayashi, and he also composed the Solaris Phase 1 boss music, the one that we're going to hear right after this cutscene. Mr. Kobayashi-san, I salute you for at the very least doing your job.
And this somehow
these
drains
tires
Elise.
Elise.
I think she got rabies from that kiss.
I think that's why she's keeling over right there.
This would be her dying moment if what's about to happen at the end
Also,
of this game didn't happen.
this CG version of Supersonic is weird.
Yeah, I will admit the CGI in this game is fantastic. However, the super forms look kind of weird. I agree.
It's a shame
let's compare this to the CGI in Sonic Unleashed.
So far that we see Super Silver, so
Super Sonic in Unleashed looks fantastic. So what happened here?
Okay, well, to be fair, this was like their first game working on this generation of tech.
No, but this is CGI, Joe. This cutscene is CGI, though, so it shouldn't...
Yeah, still, the CGI is relatively new, though, because they're using a new engine for it as well.
I don't know, Jova. I mean, Super Shadow in the final CGI cutscene of Shadow the Hedgehog looked better than this.
Yeah, because they were using an engine of CGI they were familiar with.
So, I don't know.
All right.
Whatever.
Final boss time.
This final boss is actually not bad.
I heavily disagree, but go ahead, make your case.
What cases are there make? I mean, there's nothing relatively bad about him per se. I mean,
I strongly disagree. There's nothing wrong with the Phase 1. Phase 1 is really easy, but I have a tremendous problem with Phase 2.
Oh, it's Phase 2 you're talking about.
Oh, you were talking about Phase 1. Oh, okay, never mind.
Well, I consider them two different bosses, since you know.
Okay, in that case, I take it back then.
Well, I can tell you that it looks very low polished.
It does, it really does. Yet another
Okay,
found
so
of
just like in Sonic
rush.
Adventure 2, you need to keep switching between the various hedgehogs to keep your rings up. However, okay, I'll give you credit, game. One thing this game did better than the Sonic Adventure 2 final boss battle, well, aside from the not that the Sonic Adventure 2 boss battle was all that good to begin with, as Johnny pointed out in his review very well. In this boss battle, you can switch hedgehogs at just one press of a triangle/Y button. Thank you, because the method in Sonic Adventure 2's Biohazard was god-awful. Why did you have to go all across the area just to switch characters?
Ow.
See, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Let me explain this.
Superpower hedgehogs work. Unless you want to explain that, Pedro.
Go ahead. Basically, you have to, again, same thing with Silver. Just keep grabbing shit and throwing at him. Here's the problem. The problem is that while you're trying to grab and throw things at him, you're completely defenseless. Meaning, if he throws anything at you, you're gonna get hit. So trying to hit Solaris with Silver is an exercise in frustration because you have to deliberately leave yourself defenseless, because remember, when you're trying to move around with things on your second guesses, you move slower, meaning it's much harder to dodge his stuff. And remember, you have to be right in front of him so you can throw the stuff in his direction. So fighting with Silver in this boss battle is a fucking frustrating piece of crap, because the boss is terribly designed when it comes to Silver. With Shadow and Sonic, it's fine. But I hate the Silver part of this boss battle. It's ugh.
I've actually never really had much of a problem fighting this boss as Silver. It's just about, pick up the projectiles quickly, and when he's about to throw them, throw the ones you have, and then pick up the ones he's got. That's always been my strategy.
Yes.
Basically, here's how the superpowers
Yes, Joe, but you're the
work.
greatest video game player of all time, but unfortunately not all of us are that lucky.
It's not... Luck has nothing to do with it. It's a strategy I use.
I never said
can,
I never
tell
said
you
you
more
were.
about it later.
If there's something that I've seen so far in this battle is that at least with Silver you're managing to damage Solaris.
That's because Joe, Teo, the way this first phase works, you can only damage him at first with Silver. Then, when he loses the armor of one of his arms, then you can now damage him both as Silver and as Shadow. Sonic can only damage him when you destroy both the armors on the arms and the armor that's in the core.
It's actually kind of a neat idea for a boss fight. The problem is, again, it's this game where it's in. So
and the game doesn't
I also
can
also talk about how Solaris design, again, it's so bland. Why? Seriously, what is up with the design of both Iblis and, Solaris? Like, just look at generic monster with no recognizable identity to it. I mean, Dark Gaia looked cool. This just looks bleh.
Yeah, I mean, Solaris and Iblis are hands down the worst, in my opinion, designed of Monsters of the Week. They're
so generic and bland.
Heck, even Black Doom was more interesting visually. I mean, yeah, he was as stereotypical as you come, but at least he had an iconic and interesting design of some sorts. And, of course, I definitely like the designs of later monsters to come way better than this, too. Oh, but wait till we see Solaris' second phase, because of course he's got to have a second phase.
Yes, the second phase, basically,
we'll get to that when we get to that, though, because for
fighting
now
with Silver in this part is not that bad, but the problem is that in phase 2, Solaris has this attack where he throws on a bajillion lasers at the same time. It becomes a fucking nightmare to move around with it, because it's just, it's so frustrating to me, like,
And it's still going, seriously.
I mean, the Sonic Heroes final boss battle was easy as pie, but at the very least it was functional. Or at the very least, okay, let me rephrase that. At least it was not frustrating. At least.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fine. One of the better final boss battles of this particular era. I mean, better than Biohazard, if you ask me, honestly. Final Hazard, actually. Sorry.
Yes.
I mean, when it comes to those games, oh wait, you go first, Jibs.
At least the Time Eater will be over by now.
I do love this music we're playing. This is Solaris Phase 1. Obviously, it's not orchestral, but it definitely is trying to emulate something akin to those kind of things. It's his world orchestral, and it sounds great.
Anyway, going back to what I was saying.
Well, actually,
earlier,
no, never mind. That's for later. Never mind. I'm confusing things. Never mind. Ignore me.
Anyway, as I was saying earlier, it's like, well, Supersonic boss fights before this, they were fun at least. You're like, well, I could have fun with Sonic Adventure's final boss, with Supersonic versus Perfect Chaos. Despite the issues it had with swapping characters, Final Hazard, I still had fun with that because at the very least it was awesome in its theming, and the controls at least worked overall. Yeah, the swapping stuff was stupid, but that was like the one problem. Sonic Heroes was downright fun to its core, like leading up to that final boss fight, and then you can use super-powered moves of each of your team members. That was fun. Oh, goody, speaking of fun, one of the best scenes in this game is about to play.
One of the best scenes? Oh, you mean themes?
I said themes.
Yes.
Although they've definitely improved on the fake orchestra in future games.
Also,
this one doesn't
ladies and
sound that
gentlemen,
good.
let us now do battle with Hyrule!
Why is the alien insignia a boss battle in a Sonic game?
I have no fucking clue.
Stop the out of control Solaris.
I thought this game would have was ripping off Mario, not Zelda.
That's just a thing,
Look, you just said that.
Eggman. You should know by now that we make the impossible possible.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear what Shiro means. I can hear what Shiro means by the synthesizer for this orchestra bit being a bit.
It sounds better in future games, but here you can definitely tell that this was their first attempt at this kind of thing. Yeah, it does not sound as good as future ones.
Yeah, this doesn't sound as good as the final boss theme of Sonic Unleashed.
It's
definitely.
still great though, but it's not as clear as.
Yeah, it's still great. It's just that it's not the highest budget. I mean, obviously the endless possibility orchestral remix by the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra obviously sounds absolutely phenomenal.
It's
But
the way it's reproduced in the sound font for this game, which definitely was not given the best it was. Again, this was kind of a common problem with a lot of first 7-gen games.
Actually, a lot of the instrumentation in the Unleashed one wasn't actually from an orchestra.
Really? Huh.
Nope,
Weird.
they didn't play that.
Well, I can tell.
yeah,
we know that.
I'm talking about the final boss.
Maybe they got better software.
Yeah, I'm talking about the orchestra version of Endless Possibilities.
But that was part of Tokyo
Philharmonic.
Philharmonic. The Tokyo Philharmonic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna double check, but I don't think it was.
It was actually.
I mean, they were credited for the soundtrack. It would make no sense.
All right,
for
let
them
me
to
let me check. Let me check. I actually have the book, the soundtrack booklet right here. So allow me.
I can see what you mean by saying that Silver is useless in the second phase because you can't throw rocks at it because we get all parried.
Oh, actually, you can throw rocks. The fact is, like, well, you have to actually beat his laser, and that's
the basic gist of it, Shiro, is
the
basic gist of it, Shiro, is that pretty much all of the cutscene music was done by Tokyo Philharmonic, and here we go, World Adventure.
Also, Tio, it's kind of the game hinting at you to use Sonic for the climactic finishing blow, since he's the most effective.
You're standing in my screen time.
And admittedly, you know, when you actually do know this boss in and out, yeah, Sonic's definitely the best to use on this.
Yeah, it
thing.
was.
Zoom in, zoom out.
That one was?
It was the Tokyo Philharmonic, yes.
Thought so.
Also, Shadow, you think it would be a good time now to release your bracelets inhibitors?
That's pretty much what a super form means, essentially.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, most of the level music uses different stuff, actual synths and stuff. But yeah, when it comes to cutscenes and that final boss battle, yeah, it was all the Tokyo Philharmonic.
Jesus, that. Oh, it's still going.
I know, right? See, this is my big problem with playing with this part in silver. Look at this. I can't go near him because of the fucking lasers, and he's throwing so much shit at me that it's a fucking nightmare to see. There you go. I got hit. Fortunately, I switched out in time. Fighting with silver in this phase is fucking nightmare because he keeps throwing shit at you. Go ahead, sorry.
Yes, please.
Again, you know, at least the timing to will be done by now.
No, I agree. I would have been.
People give a lot of shit towards Time Eater for the for how the boss is programmed and for the friends constantly saying quotes. But at least it's done in like 4 minutes.
Well, that's the thing, Dwebs. Well, here's the thing, Dwebs. To be fair,
and I guess you can actually turn the friends' voices off.
That too. But at the same time, Dwebs. Well, to be fair, yes, it can be done in 4 minutes. But let's face it, that's if you know in advance how the boss works and how to do it. When you're playing it for the first, you have to admit, when you're playing for the first time, it can be.
Well, you know how in advance this boss works, and it's nearly 10 minutes now.
True, but this boss has 10 as 2 phases.
Finally.
Perfect.
10 phases.
2 phases. Because remember, the time accumulates to 2 phases. It was 10 minutes for both phases, whereas Time Eater only has 1 phase, so it's not really a fair comparison.
I mean, granted, Time Eater's not nearly as bad, and I can still see why people complain about
only Sonic
Time Eater.
against the victory screen.
And guess what, Dwibs? Regardless of that, I still got way over the S rank mark, as you can see.
Wow.
S rank in this boss is a fucking joke. You can take all the time you need.
well, not all the time, but you know.
Well, I took 9 minutes.
Time to end this travesty.
Okay, I want to at the very least say this before we watch the cutscenes. Again, these cutscenes.
I know cutscene music is gorgeous, but it shouldn't have been attached to a game that obviously did not deserve it.
Am I really starting to get this predictable?
More like the game is being redundant.
No. Java has a point too. It's just that not a lot of people give credit to the music that plays in these cutscenes. That's the.
Trust me, I give credit to its music here and there, but there's only so much I can say other than, hey, this music is good, why isn't it in a better game?
That's just the thing, Jova. I freaking adore the music that plays in the Just Smile cutscene and the final one, you know, it was just the win, the very final one before the credits. Like, Parade Past Memories is so freaking beautiful, and I constantly bring it on my MP3 player to listen. whenever I want to, because I love those songs that much. I
also,
assure you.
no, Jove, Shadow still had his bracelet, so, but yeah.
Tio, that was for during the fight, not after.
So yeah, basically
Whatever.
what happens is they've been transported here for some reason.
Just Sonic and Elise. All the other friends are gone.
Also, Tio, regarding
No, you see, Teo, this is, oh my god,
It's a minor thing,
Jova, I just realized it. Jova, I just realized it. That,
it's the start of Kingdom Hearts?
That too, but the time explosion after defeating Solaris is what created the Sonic only attitude, because it's Sonic only in this level, and sorry, in this ending it's only Sonic, and from this point on, Sonic Team will go on the Sonic only phase, as fans like to call it. So it was Solaris time explosion that created this alternate timeline where Sonic's friends have minor roles. I've just discovered it. That's the answer. It's an actual plot point.
You know, daughter, as I'm saying this, I'm starting to think maybe making a flame that will allow us to control time in the universe is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Especially to just leave unguarded.
I know, like, this entire game only exists.
There you go, guys. The reason why, so that they can be her mother again.
It's like what? Almost every Pokemon movie ever.
Yeah.
I just want to see my dead wife again. Never mind.
I have no idea who that wife is. I still have no idea I still have no idea what kind of personality the Duke has. Why should I care?
Never mind, my daughter or my entire kingdom to look after. No, I'm just going to be nurturing this eldritch abomination. Also, how the heck do you grow a god from that thing?
I have no idea.
Magic.
Like, the only reason that the Biolizard was as powerful as it was to the final boss was because it was using actual chaos control and the Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah.
Like, here, apparently, people manufactured a being this so gosh dang powerful.
Alright, let me get the credit. Where do I
logical thing to do is to blow out the flame, and that pretty much eliminates Solaris from the equation.
Here we are. The music, here we go. Mariko Namba composed this one. That violin, I love that violin. And unfortunately, Mariko Namba is no longer at the Sega Sound team, which is a shame, because I love her compositions.
Actually, that's not completely true.
Oh, really? She's still there?
What? I'm talking to a
you were playing to the game. Sorry. Never. Ignore me.
Not just that, Joe, but it's funny how these particular retcon
okay, hold on, Tio. Here we go.
Yeah. Lacey.
There goes Lisa's popularity.
And everybody hates you. There you go.
It's funny.
Don't get me wrong. I hit it already. This was just,
I remember how as a kid I thought, why the heck is Kyrie in this game and older? This game kind of almost made me hate Kyrie. Remember, this was 2006. I was way younger at the time. Although now that you think about it, there could be a story canon for how Kyrie goes up to be Elise, since I guess Elise is somewhat better after this, because guess what, folks?
Happy
it's
birthday.
Retcon Day!
How fitting to celebrate the anniversary of Sonic by blowing a candle.
And now the entire events of this game are undone.
Basically the one last thing this game pulls. It's been pointless. I should be angry, but considering the travesty we've been so far, I'd say it's for the better.
But hey, here's the thing. Sonic somehow remembers the events as we're about to see.
Too bad he doesn't
it's more so implied, but sure, you can go with that.
Also, not just that, this means Soliana is still a thing in the Sonic universe. But that's the thing. Through subsequent ways, we never know what happens to Soliana, like in Forces.
Do you actually care?
Well, I guess might as well salvage and much like with the character of Silver itself, we might as well salvage it and bring it to the actual.
So if Solaris doesn't, hang on, if Solaris doesn't exist, what's this ceremony about then?
It's just a festival. It's just another festival of we love being alive.
I've already made the Tangle joke plenty of times, so I'll skip it.
And yeah, Sonic clearly remembers her name, so Sonic remembers the event. But he's smart, so he's not going to tell anyone because,
Spoiler.
We shall let us never speak about this ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Love the music, though.
This cutscene would have worked.
Oh yeah, this game is not over with, spitting in the face of Sonic the Moon.
But don't you see, Teo? You're watching the other side of the moon that wasn't blown up.
Pedro, please.
Okay, let's just quote Johnny. It's another proof that the Sonic continuum is a clusterfuck, and let's move on. It's over.
That's it.
I can, however, say that we get to hear My Destiny now, so that's nice. Okay, so remember Elise's theme. We first heard it from the Accordion Man, and the version, and when the Just Smile cutscene, that violin music we heard, that was a violin version of Elise's theme, and this is of course the full vocal version of it. It's called My Destiny, and it's performed by what was her name again? Jova. Let me check. Donna DeLore. That's it. Donna DeLore. I have no idea who she is, but she has a pretty damn good voice. So power to you, lady. And this is a really good song. I actually prefer this one over Light of Hope. I think Donna has a better voice for these types of ballads than Amy Hannum. But yeah, I really like this one in particular. I think this is one of the less talked about Sonic songs, but I actually really like it. Even Johnny pointed out how in his LP how it's a really nice song. So, and I agree.
Lovely.
Don't get me wrong. The game doesn't earn this song because Elise is a fucking garbage character, but the song by itself is really good, I think.
Doesn't work in context, though.
That's what I just said, Shiro. It doesn't work in context, but on its own, like imagine if Donna just released this as an actual single of hers.
I guess this was the reason why the Light of Hope was used for Forces, I guess, as a callback to this.
No, I don't think so. More like
to be fair to you, Sonic songs have had these more somber ending songs that are sweet to listen to. Like we've got Dearly, My Friend.
Yeah, that's true. He has a good
Live Life, one of my absolute favorite songs from Crush 40.
He has a good point,
too.
too.
Light of Hope itself from Sonic.
Remember, guys, I'm the least,
Well, basically, too, this was the first game to have something like this as an ending theme. Then we had Dear My Friend in Unleashed. We had Live Life in Black Knight. And then we had Light of Hope in Forces. Sonic Lost World didn't have vocal
something like that in Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, that's
one.
The scene where Sonic goes Sayonara Shadow.
Oh, that's a cutscene song. I'm talking about vocal songs, though.
Yeah, no, sure, that's why I was asking.
Sure. I don't know, that piano piece at the Sonic Adventure 2 final cutscene is gorgeous. Obviously, it's not that. It's just that I think...
No, you mean credit Sombra song, okay.
Not just that, vocal songs in general, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, final thoughts, I guess?
Do we need final thoughts?
Yes.
I mean, is it a bit redundant? I mean, like Pedro said, the internet has beaten this dead hedgehog for so long.
A decade.
12 years now. 12 years now.
Well, I think it's good to mention this, or at least take it from what I said.
Might as well. Go ahead, what's your final thoughts then?
I think I agree with what, I think it was Antidude says this. This game, by the time of his recording, is like 12 years old. I honestly think that for everyone it's time to move on. And I don't mean in a sense that it needs to be forgotten, in a sense that it needs to be remembered as a testament of how Sonic Team should never, ever be treated Sonic again. But I honestly think the standards for Sonic in general can
Jun
be raised
Mazuda.
again.
See? Junichi Mazuda apparently worked in this game. It was right there, Jun Mazuda.
By the time of his recording, the state of the Sonic franchise is in midterms, I guess. Mania was astonishingly good. Chris and his team did such a fantastic job. But Forces wasn't the big push that Sonic Team itself wanted to bring to the franchise itself. So, and the future seems a bit uncertain on that front. It's probably Taxman is still probably gonna have smooth sailing on his own part. But I mean, in terms of Sonic Team on the Sonic franchise, like Pedro mentioned various times in his LP, says that we should probably be left doing something else with Sonic at this point. But this again remains a testament, yes. But I think it's time for everyone to not say that when a new Sonic game comes out, it's not as bad as 06. 06 is still garbage. It's still an unfinished mess of a product that everyone judged upon, looked, and put in the trash like it rightfully deserved. But I think the franchise deserves better than to be constantly reminded of
Also, the
this.
franchise, in my opinion, has seen worse days since this game than
Not
this.
just.
I mean,
Worse than
how this franchise?
Oh yeah, Genesis.
This franchise saw worse on the
Not
day it came out.
It's not even just that.
Sorry, go ahead, Pedro.
It's not even just that. I agree with Shiro in the sense that, for example, I'll still take this game over Secret Rings because this game, at the very least, I can play it fine without getting frustrated at every single second by the terrible controls. Whereas,
yeah, but objectively speaking, Secret Rings was the better program to the games.
I guess, but at the same time, this game is more fun to play to me. I'm sorry.
I mean, there is a reason that Secret Rings is the one that got its successor, whereas this game did not.
Oh,
in
true.
Fact, this game killed the adventure format and screwed it.
Sure, I like Black Knight, but that's the thing, Jova. I'll still take Sonic's campaign in this game over. And I'm talking gameplay-wise, not story-wise. Gameplay-wise, I'll still take Sonic's campaign in this game over Secret Rings. I'm sorry. I just find I want to control with buttons. Thank you. Anyway,
I guess we'll just agree to disagree.
Also, like what I was saying.
No. I was trying to finish.
Sorry.
And I also don't get me wrong. Forces is a much better game than this. However, I will at the very least say that this game, at the very least, didn't feel like it was just like a fart of a game. At the very least, it had some more content to it. Where Sonic Forces was just a fucking 4-hour game that really felt phoned in. Whereas this one, don't get me wrong, this game is garbage, and it's still a far worse game. It's just that I think this game, at the very least, had more content to it. So I actually got more out of it, at the very least. Don't get me wrong, Forces is still fucking Super Mario Odyssey compared to this game. But it's just that I still, I don't know. Call me crazy, but I still got more gameplay-wise out of Blaze and Sonic's campaign, and even a little bit of Shadow, than the overly simplistic level design of Sonic Forces. But that's about it. Aside from that, yeah, sure. Aside from that, no, this is probably one of the worst, definitely. But go, you're done too, by the way.
Almost. Give me just a second to wrap things up. I'm a person who sees, at least tries to see potential in everything, even the worst that humanity has to offer. And yes, you can argue maybe, just maybe, this wasn't rushed, if the gameplay was polished, if the story had more focus because of the time, just maybe something good could have come out of this. And I mean, generally, good, not in a sense, I'm enjoying like playing as Sonic or Blaze. I mean, something that would have been this train wreck. But I still have doubts, and it pains me for a game like this to have doubts like that, because the potential is still there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just a shame to see it squandered, and the fact that this will remain a stain to the franchise, and for you guys also, because, you know, Sonic is a franchise that you enjoyed, and this being a stain to it permanently, you know, that certainly doesn't help, but I digress too much, so...
No, I can see what Teo means, because
I guess I'll go next. So
I can see what Teo means, because the 13 trilogy is kind of having a similar effect. Where there's a lot of Final Fantasy fans out there who cannot move on from 13 and still look at every new Final Fantasy game with skepticism and cynicism, just because the 13 trilogy happened, and they just refuse to move on. Like Pro Jared in particular. Don't get me wrong, I like Pro Jared, but he really needs to move on. We get it, Jared. The 13 trilogy sucked. Let's try to move on from that. But go ahead.
I can see why people are still on Square's case, though, because like with the Lightning trilogy, that was way more recent than Sonic 06.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, Square are still doing
people still talk about.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's the thing, though. It's a bit different, though, because 06, while it still gets talked about, it doesn't get talked about the way it used to. Like, well, believe it or not, with the Forces reviews, Forces was not compared to 06. Yeah. Thank God. In fact, last year, guess who's actually where the laughingstock than Sonic is? IGN, when they tried to make a stupid video about the Sonic fan base, said, Emerald Hill, Green Hill, they're all the same. Sonic fans just want to make love to Big the Cat. No, they got slammed by it from the internet, and now you're seeing Sonic reaction videos that take the piss out of IGN. So, if anything, I am glad that Sonic's reputation is nowhere in the trash like it used to. In fact, if anything, Sonic's reputation is fine, fair, balanced. Mania was paid more attention to. Forces, At worst, it got an eh. Most of reviewers actually did see it as a step in the right direction in some regards, while still also mentioning its shortcomings. Whereas Sonic 06 back in the day was the punching bag, and I can't blame them for treating it like such. I'm just glad we're finally out of that shadow. You want to say something, Pedro?
Just before we move on to Shiro's final thoughts.
Wait, hold on. You mean back to my final thoughts?
Well, sure, you can go next if you want.
I was already going next.
Sure. It's just to mention that this particular track we're hearing right now, this is the instrumental version of My Destiny. Basically, on the official soundtrack, there's a hidden bonus track right after My Destiny, which is the instrumental version of it. So basically, they included an instrumental version of this. I kind of wish they would have gave us instrumental versions of the other songs in some other way, but I guess it's better than nothing. Go ahead, Jova.
It might have had something to do with the copyright as well. That's a pain to deal with in video games. Sonic 3K, anyone?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but yeah, this game. Okay, I know a lot's been said about this, but screw it, I'm gonna give my piece anyway. This game, while fun to play for the glitches, this game was a travesty and a train wreck. Do I believe that this game could have been better if it got delayed? Yes, but not in the sense that just patching all the bugs would have fixed it, because take away the bugs, what do we have? A boring game with terrible pacing, side quests that are inane at best, and just stuff with no sense of direction or story pace. And even then, the levels aren't really that fun themselves. No. Beyond just that, if this game had actually been given the time and proper development, we could have had more content to it, actual controls that worked properly, maybe some level design that actually got some time and thought put into it. You know, like the adventure games. Like, you know what's sad is that, honestly, Knuckles and Rouge here are finally what we want them to be, part of an A to B section. Yes, they have the treasure hunting, but they're still trying to work for an A to B section overall, yet it's in this game, and it's only a subsection of the level as opposed to a proper level. It just really, really sucks. And it's draining to play when you're not playing as Sonic, Omega, or Blaze, or Shadow. You'll be slow as Silver, you'll be hit as Amy, I don't even really want to bother with the rest. I mean, sure, Rouge has the gliding stuff, but again, there's the wall sticking glitch here and there.
Well, it kind of makes sense, Joe, because Knuckles is pointless and inconsequential to the story overall.
Yeah, this story definitely has some of the worst thought, if any thought was put into it, out of a story. I mean, sure, you could say that it's an ambitious story. I'm not going to credit something basically on ambition, though.
I agree.
By that logic, I'd be praising Mighty Number 9, and we all saw how that turned out. So I'm not going to praise it just for ambition. I get more out of stories like Sonic Colors. Yes, Sonic Colors is a lot lighter on it, but Sonic Colors actually works with its concept to its natural conclusion. Heck, the DS version works better with the multiple characters than this game does. And I think that's just one of the worst things about this game. Overall, it does not feel fun. Like, I had fun with Shadow the Hedgehog because, for the most part, it was Sonic characters in a Sonic world just with goofy, dark stuff and swearing. Aside from that, though, it was still Sonic I was playing. Here, Sonic acts all brooding and whatnot, whereas Shadow gets to be the one cracking one-liners better than him while still staying in character. It's awesome for Shadow, but when I play a Sonic game, I don't want to see Sonic made lamer just for the sake of making Shadow and the new guy, Silver, looking core. And by the way, big fail there, because Silver looks and sounds stupid. Like, could they have picked a more annoying voice for a new character?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, they're trying to reboot of the older characters, like turning Omega into a stereotypical robot. Yeah, that doesn't work here because this is a story that's supposed to focus on the relationship of Team Dark. And yes, it does work, but God, it's the fact that they have such terrible voice acting for Omega, which it tears away from those scenes so badly. And that's just saying because I legit like Team Dark. Heck, even BioWare understands Team Dark better in Sonic Chronicles. Yes, I went there. The music is phenomenal. Well, in some cases. Other cases, it's lame. It's not my favorite soundtrack, but it's overall a pretty good soundtrack. As
it has more hits than it hits more than it misses, at least.
As is customary of a Sonic soundtrack, so fair enough there. The story. Yeah, the story. We tore it apart good enough. The story is one of the worst I've seen in a video game. Yeah. Now, yes, I have played worse games than this. I have commentated on games way worse than this. In fact, one of our catchphrases might as well be, we thought 06 was the worst until we saw this game. That does not change still how bad this game is still, folks. This may not have been the crowning bout of bad I was expecting it to be for my commentating career, but it's still pretty bad.
The whole story just reeks of fanfiction. Bad fanfiction at that.
Bad fanfiction. Because I can test that some games have proven that at least if you are light-sided enough and it's a game that that it's not going to take itself too seriously, even a fanfiction kind of type of plot can work somehow. But I'm digressing.
The worst thing, though, is the worst thing about the story to me, to wrap things up, is that it's wasted potential. Like, let's think about this. Had Elise been an animal or something, the kiss would not have been received as bad. In fact, if anything, I heard that originally they had a story going on with Blaze being the princess character. That would have made sense. Blaze is a princess, involved with flames. I mean, sure, anyone who's not into Sonics might have been pissed off, aka not me, but still, it would have been better received than having Elise kiss him. And you know what? Again, maybe you could have had something going on between Elise and Sonic if you didn't have it played so seriously. And heck, let's forget the bestiality thing. Did they actually even try with the relationship? Like, I know people talk about the bestiality, but the relationship itself is non-existent there. Like, give Beauty and the Beast credit. You actually nurtured the relationship so you could understand why those two got together. And yeah, with Mephiles, okay, if you want to have Mephiles do this convoluted plan, then specify the dang rules about Iblis. They don't. So for all we know, Mephiles is just an idiot who overcomplicates and in a way dooms his own plans. And I could go on and on about how I could come up with better ideas used to what they did here and there, but you see my point. Overall, this game is waste potential. The worst thing for me, quite honestly. Shiroi, take it away next.
Well, at the very least, I managed to condense... Shiroi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Well, okay.
Your thoughts,
This is a game.
It is the game.
Arguable.
Well, it's more of a game than Beyond Two Souls.
True, very true. And it's a game I can have more fun with than Beyond Two Souls, but I guess that's not saying much.
Well, like I said earlier, this series has seen worse. Much worse. Like Sonic Genesis, Free Riders, Secret Rings, Rise of Lyric. This is like
Sonic Drift.
No. The most annoying thing in that is its sound design.
I would say Rise of Lyric is on par, and there's not so much better or worse, but yeah, sure, go ahead.
No, because again, there is no fun. Like aside from seeing the character interactions, which you can find on YouTube, I mean, there's no fun to be had with playing that game.
I don't know, Shiroi. The glitches I found more fun in Rise of Lyric.
There aren't any glitches there anymore, though, are there?
Yeah, they patched the best glitch in the game.
And hey, Rise of Lyric does the mock speed sections better than 06.
True.
It might, but...
And I honestly had...
still one of the worst parts of that game, so...
I honestly had a more fun time with the combat in Rise of Lyric than 06. I'd say Rise of Lyric is, like Pedro said, on par, though I will actually say that I do find it notably better than 06.
Again, I'll say it's slightly worse just because of how boring it is, but...
Agree to disagree.
Yeah, sure. Beating a dead horse again, the only good thing about this is the music. Well, actually, no. There is that one scene with Shadow and Silver is fine. This is awful.
I guess you can say that...
More at 6 o'clock.
Again, this is the game that got me to wise up, shall we say? This was not
feeling.
I'm a cynical fuck, and it's all thanks to us. There we go.
All right, dweebs, I guess.
I played the PS3 version up until Sonic's White Acropolis level, so I can't speak for everyone else in terms of gameplay, but I can speak for Sonic.
Go ahead.
It's boring. I fail to see why. Honestly, I can't see why people can even how people can even enjoy Sonic's levels.
That's because of the gems.
It's because of the gems.
Well, you have to play through a lot of shit just to get to the gems, though.
True.
That's the difference between us and you. But anyway, I don't blame you for not playing all the way through.
Also, that also wonderful subplot about the Rimlight Corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. That was integral.
I also disagree with some people who say, oh, there's branching pathways, therefore it's good level design. I'm like, is the level fun, first of all?
Yeah.
You can have like a billion branching pathways and it still wouldn't be any fun.
Oh yeah, I should probably mention, I hate this game for killing the adventure formula.
That too.
Yeah.
There's also I've seen. I'm going to be quite honest. In terms of games that came out near the Xbox 360's launch, Bomberman Act Zero is a better looking game than 06.
Wow.
And that's sad because that all takes place in like one room throughout the entire game, whereas this has a variety of environments, and yet it barely looks better than a late Xbox game. Also, the story is absolute garbage. Most of the soundtrack I really like. There's some tracks that are a bit meh. What else can is there anything else? Anything you think I might have missed?
Nothing
really.
that any of us hasn't
The
covered already.
art direction, the visuals in general, I guess.
Well, I've already addressed the visuals, and I think they're barely.
In that case, I guess
barely
I can
better
think of
than
anything
a-
now.
They're barely better than a late Xbox game. Yeah, that's all I've got really. I mean, sorry, I forgot to mention. In terms of where I'd rank this game in terms of worst Sonic games, I'll rank this higher than Sonic Genesis.
No argument there.
No argument
That's-
from me.
That's one compliment. I mean, at least this game is its own piece of trash, not wrecking a perfectly fine game that they did well the first time around.
And it doesn't lag nearly as much as Sonic Genesis.
Yeah.
Plus, this game actually sounds good,
True.
Yeah.
music-wise. But yeah, overall, it's still a crap game though. But hey, it can't get any worse.
Anyway, okay.
Well, actually, it did get worse on the same day, but after that, it didn't get any worse.
The only thing I really had to add is that I have nothing to add because the horse has been beaten. My co-commenters have mentioned pretty much everything at this point.
Let's hit it one last time.
So I'm gonna end by praising my own, by massaging my own ego and contemplating the fact that I managed to condense this entire thing, side quests and all, loading times and all, in just 25 parts.
Just be careful not to turn your. Just be careful not to massage your ego too much, so that you turn into Yuji Naka, and then that means that you're going to split up from the project, and that means we're going to end up doing a completely rough commentary project.
I'm going to move. Yes, I'm going to move to. I'm going to move to Spain to work at with some Spanish commentary group. And then I'll make this and then I'll do the Sonic Forces playthrough there. Well, actually, no, I'm not the one who's
And bet that Spanish commentary group will end up being a failure, and then you'll end up working with Brain Scratch comms.
Sure.
Because remember, Yuji Naka's probe didn't exactly go so well, so now he's working for Square Enix.
All right, so that was Sonic 06.
Sonic game, I guess.
Actually, we have one more part to do. We have a part we have a part where I show off some of the more interesting DLC. That this game got DLC, surprisingly.
Of all things.
So, see you then.
See you for that.
See ya.
All right.